Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Betting on Proline is now easier than ever with their new app. Download it today and make things interesting. I'm Lindsay Dunn, alongside my amazing co-hosts, Riccio and Cabbie, and I'm live from the SkyDome right now, where we're getting a preview for what's new at the ballpark right now. And where I'm standing was known as the TD Club. It has now been transformed into Rogers Terrace, and behind me, they're still doing some finishing touches on the field. But this, guys, is where the TD Club used to be. It is now a beautiful, swanky spot where you can have charcuterie boards. There is a grand piano. We'll probably have to have a couple.
Can you play the piano for us, Linz? No? Are you not a
You
piano
know
player?
what? Maybe we'll
Sonata,
some
chopsticks.
like Sonata. But this is quite the transformation.
My best piano game is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's really
Come on.
Wait, are you serious?
Amazing.
That's the best piano game. That is the best piano game. That is a straight up flex, my friend.
It
And
really is.
when we talk about flexes, I had a sundae and a hot dog and stuff at 9 a.m. So they have a lot of new food. We'll show some video to get your guys' reaction, including the new Rocky Mountain Sundae, which has Nanaimo bar bits in it, coconut shaving, ice cream. You get a little helmet. But as soon as that video is playing, because I won't be able to see it, you tell me what you guys see, because there's garlic knots. There's something known as Ace's hot dog. It has like a couple peppers on top of it. They have beef and chicken shawarma bowls and wraps available for anybody to try. There's a new like Vladdy burger. I know a lot of people love burgers when they come to the ball games because they usually hear about hot dogs, but a lot of new tasty treats here, including an Uncrustable French toast that is a huge dollop of whipped cream on it. So
That sounds
just saying,
amazing.
do you guys want to come here? Maybe
sounds-
have some garlic knots. Then
I
I think there's like a meatball hot dog deal.
Meatball hot dog deal? That sounds like a lot. I will say, like, the Rocky Mountain Sundae kind of gives like a little bit of a West Coast flavor, right? The Blue Jays, after all, people in BC used to hate when I said this, but Canada's team, the Blue Jays, so giving a little love out to the West Coast. What I see out of this Rogers Center menu is, though, it's kind of like Toronto, as it's like a melting pot of different kinds of flavors
100%.
from different kinds of cultures. So maybe, unlike other ballparks where maybe there's one signature dish, Toronto's thing is that there is a bunch of different flavors at the ballpark. Maybe that's me making the connection there.
No,
Yeah,
you
I think
absolutely
it's the
are
right
correct.
connection, dude. A mosaic of people, mosaic of food. The menu looks inspired and elevated. I can't wait to get down there. So, Lindsay, you ate. Would you say out
All
of
of
the you sampled all of it? Okay.
All of
right,
it that I could in the 15 minutes that we had, and I am feeling great right now. But it's
You had a
definitely
hot
suiting
dog
my
for
stomach.
breakfast, so it was a normal breakfast
normal.
for you, I guess. Yeah.
That's a normal day for me. You know this, and I'm really excited about the charcuterie board that's available at this terrace here, because I will not be sitting here during a regular season game. I'm going to have to find someone that has, the pass to get in here or the season tickets, because it's going to be a little pricey. Also, I haven't bought a beer at a game in a long time. They're $13.75. Is that normal for Budweiser? Ooh. Is that the going rate?
I mean,
you know
how
what?
tall is it?
In this economy, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's concessions. Concessions are not cheap.
The chef, Matthew, who is behind a lot of the creations here and dealing with his staff, he's actually from the West Coast. So he said this made him feel like home, getting this kind of Rocky Mountain Sunday going. And there's specific items that are available to the 328 Club, which is down in right field by where Springer would be playing. And it includes a delicious chicken sandwich. There's also a mushroom dish that is for people that are vegetarian. And there's some new cocktails that are available. But because it is only 10 a.m., I'm going to wait until after our show to try it. But before, I let you guys go and have the fun in the studio where I have to have the tough job today, I just want to give one little tour of this, and then we'll take everyone through the ballpark probably in about 30 minutes for the new additions for the everyday fan that can see that are going to celebrate the 50th anniversary. But that there is the piano that we are going to hear Dan play Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And yeah, as you can see, this is quite the grand entrance to come into the terrace here. But what an extensive renovation if you think they had to completely gut this as soon as the extra innings of Game 7 were done. And we can even play a little bit of pool. So while your piano game is strong, Dan, Cabbie, what is your pool game like?
Elite. Oh. I'm Fats Domino reincarnated. I'll clear that table like gosh. 1 to 16. Yes. Just or Fats Domino. No, not Fats. Minnesota Fats. Fats Domino was a legendary Domino, blues artist. Minnesota Fats. Yeah. Call me the hustler. Okay,
you were the hustler.
I did not take Cabbie as a pool shark. No, that's.
I just don't smoke cigarettes, but my trigonometry game is elite.
Ooh, I cannot wait for you to do a special feature for Off the Roster with another pool shark. Well, Dan is playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and while they're not looking, we're quickly going to show the field because we're not supposed to do this right now. As you can see, the finishing touches on the field, it says opening week 2026. Obviously, a lot of excitement surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays and a lot of the other squads who made additions to their team in the offseason. So I'll have more for you guys from inside the SkyDome coming up, but I'm going to go have a $13 beer. I'll check in with you guys in about 30 minutes.
So try to get some Cheetos, too. We know you love those for breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
If Lindsay has one beer, I don't know if we'll get her back for the end of the show, but we'll cross our fingers and hope that she can manage all of that. The chat is firing up with their favorite ballpark foods. Justin saying the carne asada fries at Dodger Stadium are his favorite, as he notoriously watches the show daily from LA. Cab, the one thing about ballpark food is simple is generally best. And even though I'm not usually a hot dog guy, just a hot dog and a beer is kind of the way to go for me. Maybe I'm too simplistic with my ballpark food, but I don't want something too crazy.
And you know what? You never know when you're going to be on camera. And I'm not saying they're looking for you, but just a fan mid bite. And if you're taking a chance with a glizzy, that is a risk, bro. Because then you have no idea when the broadcast is coming back from commercial and just panning the audience, or there's just you and your wife, and then just mouthful of a glizzy, that is it's
you don't want the visual. Yes, you don't want the visual.
Yeah. No, and then you don't want your buddies to post it in the group chat and then make a GIF out of it for it to live as a loop forever. So I avoid hot dogs. Who was it? Justin, who's out on the West Coast. When I I went to Game 4 and Game 5 of the World Series this year in LA, and I'd gone to Dodger Stadium earlier in the calendar. They have this, bro. They have this a mini Dodgers helmet, just filled with this Korean chicken, sweet chili heat Korean. It was probably $30 and a minimum 6,000 calories. But I ate that thing from innings 4 to 7, dude. I was in heaven. And during the World Series, I think I got chicken fingers. Again, to follow your rule to keep it simple, chicken fingers and fries, I think were about $20. But, it's American portions. So you have a tray of chicken fingers and fries. So it's it's a hearty meal. You just need one item, and that should last you the whole game. So that's kind of my playbook when I go to ballparks. Chicken fingers, or try the signature, the new addition to the menu. And at that time when I got those Korean chicken bites, that was I asked one of the vendors or one of the ushers, hey, what's the new food thing? They're like, oh, you got to go to the pavilion to get it. I was like, perfect. Had no idea it was going to be $30, but it was delicious. I think I had to run, I ran an 8K the next morning to pay the tax from that bad boy.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Nachos at a ball game, if you've got a table, maybe, but generally from your seat, that, I don't want that cheese and all that. Popcorn's always easy. So simple is best at a ballpark. But keep letting us know on the chat of what you think is the best ballpark meal.
Quick question for you, Dan. When you are a fan at a game, how? And I've asked this because if you have a plate of nachos on your lap, that removes you really from like any big celebrations. Like if you have it on your lap and, you know, Addison Barger goes deep, then you just got to clap like this. You can't really stand up because you can't really put it anywhere. You don't want the cheese to fall on your shirt. So are you a person that like 2 strikes, it's a home team pitching, you're up clapping, or you clap after the strikeout? And obviously for home runs, you're up there fist pumping, but how do you generally celebrate when you're at games?
Oh, I am in for every minute of it. Like, yes, get to 2 strikes, we're up, we're clapping. I mean, obviously, like the level of the game, if it's like a mid-July game against the Chicago White Sox who have 4 wins on the season and you know, you've got 100 games in, like maybe it's not as intense, but generally I am in and loving every pitch. But it's a tough one because you want to be in on the game, but you don't want to have like too much going on with your food and everything like that. So that's another reason why I like it simple.
And then you got to put it under your seat. You know, if someone hits a home run, you have to stand up and acknowledge it, but you got to like make sure, and you know, you got to put it deep enough under your seat so that you don't step on it after. And then where do you put your drink? Sometimes the cup holders aren't the right size, or it's like blocking your knee, or there are no cup holders, so you have to awkwardly put it under your seat. That same Dodgers game, I kicked over, I ruined someone else's meal. Oh, bro, I ruined someone else's meal because I celebrate. We won game 4, 6-1, and game 5, 6-2, or vice versa. And then I'm up celebrating kind of quietly because I'm in a sea of Dodger fans. But I knocked over my drink onto someone else's. Oh my gosh, I had to go buy. It was just, and I was like,
this
man,
is a cardinal sin, Cab.
It really is. It really is. I committed an offense. It should have been punishable by 30 days in jail.
You did not leave Dodger Stadium with a black eye after that?
I did. There were no altercations. I did. The chirps were very playful. I was really surprised because we were fully in enemy territory. I'm wearing Jays stuff. Like I'm obviously a Jays fan. So anyway, I'm glad that we have until that moment have handling the food is very top of mind so that we don't embarrass ourselves or end up on a loop looking like someone just is a total pig eating nachos or whatever in the stands.
German fine cars, he's old-fashioned. Hot dog and popcorn. Another question coming in. Clayton says peanuts and beer is a good way to go at a ballpark. And poutine at Rogers Center. I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm kind of against poutine.
Wait, in general or at a baseball game or at a sporting
general
event?
Like as a Canadian, I love poutine, but I feel like it's hard to get good poutine nowadays because like the regular
you don't go to Smokes Poutinery, bro. Smokes Poutinery is the spot in Toronto. Anyway,
I'm not usually as a 38-year-old man now, Cab. I'm not usually perusing the streets of downtown Toronto after a hard night out looking for Smokes Poutinery to end the night. But it's
that's when it's the best. Then
that is when it hits the best. That's absolutely when it hits the best. But there's too many different flavors now. You can get all kinds. Like you get meatball poutine. Like I don't know. Like what are we doing here? Italian poutine. Like you got butter chicken poutine, pulled pork poutine. Every kind. I just want straight
poutine.
Up.
Yeah,
there are a lot of options. Gravy and cheese curds on fries. Like that's it.
You just want the basic.
I want the OG poutine, and I want you to do it well. I want the gravy to be hot enough so that it melts the cheese. None of this like cold gravy, and you've got full cheese curds on your poutine. If you're getting poutine at a fast food joint, no, it's never good, never ever. Like you get it at Don's or Harvey's. I've never had it where it's actually good. So I'm strictly like too many people are doing poutine now, and it's gotten overrated because not enough people do simple poutine well. That's my poutine take. Anyways,
I think we in the group chat somebody posted an image of the Boston Red Sox offering poutine, and I think it's a lobster based poutine.
Gross.
And in like a ship or something because they're on the coast and Cape Cod is close by and all that. And I like the idea behind it. I'm if I ever go to a Red Sox, I would be curious to try it. Like you got to at least try it. Maybe not enjoy it, but go in with maybe lowered expectations. And then if you lower your expectations far enough, then generally your expectations will be exceeded. And that's the key to joy, my friend.
All right, so we'll get more from Lindsay from Rogers Center, but our food takes are getting off the rails now. Join in on the chat for Leafs Bruins chat. We got Raptors Clippers coming up later, and Jay Rosehill's in town, so he might saunter into the studio at some point during the show. But Leafs Bruins last night, as we await Jonny Lazarus to join the show, Cab. Leafs Bruins last night. Leafs end up with the win. 4-2, and Bruins didn't really show up for this one. Leafs for once actually outshoot their opponent, and for me, never mind the win or anything else, the biggest moment in the game was Nikita Zadorov boarding John Tavares, gets the 5-minute major, but there was zero hesitation from Easton Cowan on the ice. The hit happened, Tavares is down in the corner, and little Easton Cowan, who just turned 20 years old, is taking on one of the biggest bad boys in all of the National Hockey League. So if there's one player that learned from the Auston Matthews incident a couple of weeks ago, Easton Cowan proved that he learned from that moment.
Love to see it, man. Again, the culture is changing. I know that the team took all the bullets and so much heat for not stepping up and defending Auston Matthews on that knee-to-knee from Radko Gudas, who, by the way, apologized yesterday. I don't know if you saw this, and Eric Stevens had this story, I think, for the Orange County Register or the Anaheim, Eric Stevens writes for The Athletic, but Gudas was very apologetic. He said in the article that he spoke to Auston Matthews on the phone, so I think that they're good now, or he was able to offer an apology, which is a nice. I mean, it's the bare minimum, so I shouldn't give him too much credit for doing the bare minimum. But since that moment where Matthews is down and obviously he's out for 12 weeks repairing his MCL, that and my former colleague BX has said it on Hockey Night Canada, something's got to change. And it's going to be small incremental steps. So here we go. Easton Cowan, 20 years old in London, Ontario, taking up, what is Zadorov, 6'3" or 6'4"?
Oh, Zadorov's 6'7", man, or 6'6". He is a large human. Covering him in Vancouver, I don't think, there's players in the league that are taller than Nikita Zadorov, but he might be the biggest guy in the league. He is 6'6",
Is Matt Rempe still in the league?
He's 6'6", 250. He is thicker, I think, than any other player. He's not a big lanky guy, he's filled out for 6'6", and is just he's a mountain of a man. He could easily play linebacker in the NFL if he had he has the body to play linebacker in the NFL, I'd say.
Make him a 3-tech for the Washington Commanders or something. Just fire off the line there. But hey, credit to Easton Cowan. Salute, young man. Just you're going into a situation where you will probably take an L, but you got to show that courage and that grit, and that's probably a response to his head coach. Actually, it's like Craig Berube is it's almost, and I don't know if this is their dynamic, but just you have that really hard-headed, stubborn father who you're your whole existence is to try to make dad happy or make dad give you a compliment. It's trying to get a compliment out of head coach Bill Belichick. And even Tom Brady didn't get compliments. The greatest quarterback of all time, or the quarterback with the greatest resume of all time, couldn't get compliments from Bill Belichick. So maybe this is a similar situation with Easton Cowan, his dynamic with Craig Berube. But I love to see it. Love to see that. And love to see Matthew Nyes on that shorthanded goal. It was maybe the highlight of his season. And it was Mason Lohrei. Mason Lohrei just speed burst, strips him, goes in, scores a beautiful goal. It's great. No, Dan, as a Leafs fan, they win 4-2 in Boston, but the greater plan is to lose games in order to hang on to that first round pick. How did you experience this victory last night?
It's tough, man. As a Leaf fan, it's it was a lose-lose last night because you never want to lose to the Bruins, but the Leafs tanking situation, if they're going to land one of those top 5 picks, winning last night did not help their cause, and also the out-of-town scoreboard did not help their cause. But tonight is a new game, and it's against the New York Rangers in what is kind of a tank bowl for those going down to Scotiabank Arena tonight. Joining us now to talk about that and more stories around the National Hockey League, it is Jonny Lazarus of Morning Cup of Hockey.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Sorry I'm late.
It's all good, Johnny. It's all good. Jonny Lazarus, of course, from Morning Cup of Hockey, Daily Faceoff, 9 a.m. each and every day. You follow him on Twitter as well, at JLazzy23. So Rangers are in town tonight. It is a bit of a tank bowl between the Leafs and the Rangers. Are there two teams having, these are the two most disappointing teams in the National Hockey League this year, are they not?
Yeah, hard to find another team that would compete with that. And I think, listen, it's easy to say, it's a little bit biased of me to say, but the National Hockey League is way more fun when the Rangers and Leafs are good, right? I think most people would agree with that. Two really fun markets. Obviously, people compare Toronto to be the New York of Canada and vice versa, right? New York is the Toronto, I guess, of the States. But what sucks? The last time the Leafs were here, I guess it was a couple weeks ago. Usually, the Garden is buzzing for Leafs Rangers games. You get Go Leafs Go, you get Let's Go Rangers, dueling chants. There was none of that. It was a pretty miserable game to sit through, to be honest. So tonight, I imagine the atmosphere will be pretty dead in Scotiabank. Obviously, both franchises, the fans at least, probably wanting losses. I know Ranger fans are definitely happy that Toronto won last night in Boston, and Leafs fans are pissed, I think, that they won. So it's a weird time of year. I will say, though, I think maybe this is a cop-out, but I do think the Rangers are a bit more disappointing than Toronto, just because Toronto, there were questions about what this team would look like without Marner, and you can use that excuse that they lost one of their best offensive players this year. That could be an excuse that you kind of latch onto. Where the Rangers, this is all pretty self-inflicted, right? I know they've dealt with some injuries, but they really have kind of torn apart that locker room over the last 2 years after winning a President's Trophy, and this is the result you're getting. So it's different for I don't think the stories are as similar for both sides.
Yeah, there's definitely some nuance between both of them, and Chris Drury, he made some bold moves, and none of them have really worked out for the New York Rangers, right? And the other night against Ottawa was about as bad a game as you can have.
Oh yeah,
it's Mika Zibenejad's 1,000th game. They get 9 shots. JT Miller's having to answer questions again after the game. He was named captain. I don't know if there's a person in New York who has a worse approval rating than JT Miller right now. Maybe Chris Drury.
Yeah, maybe. It's weird. There are a lot of Ranger fans who I think were very happy when it was very split, right? The Rangers kind of needed to be a harder team to play against. And last year, the player that the Rangers thought they were getting was there. JT came in and helped the Rangers at least remain competitive till the end of the year. I think they fell maybe 5 points out of the playoffs when the season was all said and done. And this year, for whatever reason, it just hasn't been as consistent. And, I think part of that is maybe due to injury from training camp, which bled into the regular season. The second game of the year, Vinny Trocheck goes down. He misses 14 games. The Rangers can't score goals. To me, a lot of people look at JT's post-game comments and questions the things that he says. But I think he's showing the right emotions and saying the right things, but the actions aren't necessarily reflecting what he's saying. So, I don't know. It's very tough to judge this year and just what has transpired over the last 2 years. But to your point, I think JT is having a tough go amongst Ranger fans this year.
Jonny, good morning. Cabbie here.
Yeah.
I saw you had a clip or a few clips post game after Mika Zibanejad's 1,000th, and do you think his hair holds the secret to the Rangers power play, and should you be concerned if he ever decides to trim it?
That's a good question, because obviously the Panarin ball thing's a thing, but had Mika had a down year this year, I think everybody would be saying shave your head. I think last year there were a lot of takes someone just shaved Mika's head. I think that was a real thing last year, because last year was a very down year for his standards. But this year, 30 goals, flirting with a point per game. And there was a lot of criticism and pressure on him going into the season too, right? Last year, and actually, I'm probably going to jump around here, but that was the coming to terms thing with his 1,000th game, and just understanding how good Mika has really been for the Rangers. I think in the in the COVID year, like he had 41 goals in 57 games. Like he was on his way to scoring potentially 60 goals that year. Like he was unbelievable. And he's been pretty damn good and has come up clutch in a lot of big moments too when they've needed him to. Granted, it hasn't been maybe as consistent as fans would have hoped, but he's been a really good Ranger. And for what that trade was, I mean, it's hard to say, you ask 100 people, I think 100 people all say the Rangers won that trade and got more out of Mika Zibanejad than they would have with Derek Brassard at the time. Obviously, Brassard had some big playoff moments, but yeah, like I personally love Mika. I think he handles a lot of pressure very well. He's a soft-spoken guy, a very emotional guy, but wears his heart on his sleeve as well. Is he the meanest guy? No, but anyone that knows him doesn't have a bad thing to say about him. Great teammate, great leader. I think people just want to see an angrier version of him, but that's just not who he is. So, like, you just got to live with it, I guess,
I wonder if people in Minnesota or where Dan used to work in Vancouver feel similarly to Quinn Hughes, because his expression doesn't change. And, like, you want him to be a little bit – to show something, but he rarely does.
I'll say, though, if I can, quick. Like, Quinn is –
of course.
I know Quinn pretty well. I've gotten to know him really well over the last, 5 years. I actually met him and Jack, randomly out in New York City in, 2021. So I, really bonded with them that day before I, even worked in
Meatpacking district or
yeah, we were in we were actually in the meatpacking district, swear to God. Okay. So funny. It was called Judy's. The place is called Judy's Ease. It still exists in New York. But I at the time I had no front teeth because I had just finished my playing career. So I walked up to them and I was like, does no one here know who you guys are? It was Quinn, Jack, Josh Norris, and Will Lockwood. And I being the hockey guy, hockey fan I was like, I'm going to buy these guys beers all day. I'm just going to totally kiss their ass and become friends with them. But we just, we've kind of ran in similar circles around New York in the summer and stuff. So I bump into them from time to time. And now working in the league, I've gotten to know them. Quinn is the coolest guy ever. And I know that doesn't necessarily always come across in the media. People like to have their fun with him. But I think now that he's won gold too, it's kind of taken a weight off his shoulders. So I think people will maybe start to see how cool Quinn Hughes really is. He's got so much personality that maybe hasn't necessarily come out yet in media and all that stuff. But you're starting to see it, I feel a little bit more since they've returned from the Olympics.
We'd love to see it. We'd love to meet a different version of Quinn Hughes, because we have one of the jokes is just he has a resting sad face where he's either just so locked in or he's just, it feels like maybe he's somewhere else when you just see his first goal in Minnesota. I don't even know if Bro smiled.
I don't think he did.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah, he's locked in on a different frequency. The last time Toronto played New York, it was around NHL trade deadline. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Scott Laughton, Bobby McMahon were all scratched due to roster management. It seemed like Toronto at the time was gearing up to be sellers. So now post-Olympic break, we're calling it on the show Toronto's showcase era, where younger talent comes up to showcase themselves, or even some veterans or players with term just showcase their skills, and perhaps maybe they get traded in the offseason. What has it been like for you to cover a team? And I have this here. Covering the New York Rangers, a team that was last at 500 on January 10th, 2026, 10 weeks ago. What's that been like for you, bro?
I'm not going to lie. It's been incredibly depressing. I'm someone who, it's funny. I was actually having this conversation with my girlfriend the other night. I was like, I think it's both a positive and a negative that I put so much emotion into my job. Right. When the Rangers lose, I feel that, right? And that's maybe the hockey player in me. Growing up, I played in college and stuff. And when you win, it's the best feeling in the world. When you lose, you don't want to talk to anybody. That's just kind of how it goes. And, it's well documented that I grew up a Ranger fan. So when the team's doing well, life is great. When the team's not doing well, life sucks. And I have to be the one to go ask them the negative questions. And that's kind of where the job sucks a little bit, because every night I'm pretty much reading, hearing, getting texts, constant negativity. So for the players, I'm not saying I can relate, but I can feel for them when things aren't going well in hockey. Everything around it just feels so much heavier and more negative. And I kind of feel that too. In 2024, that was my first year working in hockey full time, they were winning like every game. And it was like, my life felt like I had the best life ever. Like I was just like so happy. Everything was so much better. The weather felt nicer, and now it's like, oh my God, man, like another loss. I got to ask more negative questions. I got to hear negative responses. I got to get negative tweets at me from fans. Like it sucks. It sucks. And no one, I think there are some sports fans that love to be angry, right? Like they kind of crave negativity, right? You guys, yes. I'm sure you guys
we're
feel
one
that.
of those fan bases. We are
in
negativity.
Funny enough, they're mostly on Twitter though. Those ones.
Yeah, for sure. But I've never been one of those I've never been one of those fans. Like I've never been like I was always like, if this guy's on my team, I'm rooting for him. And I'm not someone who wants to ride somebody out of town. And I think that's what's been hard is like getting to know these guys. A lot of them are great guys. And like all the fans want me to say is like, trade them, So it's just, I think when you get to know players on a personal level and you have to have an opinion on how they're playing, it certainly does make things a little bit harder.
Absolutely agree. Last one from me, bro. If you could put on your general manager's headset or, the suit or the hat, if you're basically Chris Drury of the New York Rangers on April 19th, let's say, what's the first move you're making?
Wow.
Or maybe first phone call you're making.
Well, the first conversation I think you're having, which has kind of come out a little bit in the media as of late, is like, it's with Adam Fox and Mika Zibanejad. I mean, Mika has like been pretty clear that he wants to be here, and I'm not saying Adam Fox wants out of here, but you have to like really have that conversation of, this is Adam Fox's prime. He's got 1 year left of a no move clause. Like, where do you see, I guess, his role on this team if they are not going to be in the playoffs, right? Like, I would think a guy like him, one of the better defensemen in the league, doesn't want to like waste his prime years on a team that isn't going to make the playoffs. I maybe he would want a better situation where he has a better chance to win. Like, that's just been a conversation that we've kind of had because of the Olympic stuff. He didn't make the team and whatnot. And, I think it's been reported that he was asked about his relationship with Mike Sullivan, and it's very businesslike. There's just a lot of questions there that I think are going to get answered this summer because you can get a lot in return from him. And to me, the Rangers need to get younger. Like, they have to build towards being competitive for, let's say 5 to 7 years, because the next 3 to 5 years, it doesn't look like you have a Stanley Cup team right now. And the whole point of what they've done is not to be competitive, it's to win the Stanley Cup, right? Like, that's why Toronto is Toronto, and that's why New York is New York. Like, these teams don't just care about making the playoffs. They want the big prize because it's been so long and the fans have been deprived of it. So I think that conversation with Adam Fox is what needs to kind of happen first. And if he stays, great. Like, who wouldn't want Adam Fox in their team? But if there is maybe a chance that a contender or a team wants to trade for him, I think you can get a lot in return for him.
Quickly before we let you go, Johnny, were you at the Islanders game last night? Did you watch all 31 plus minutes that Matthew Schaefer? This is like child labor at this point. Patrick Waugh, man. Like, what kind of HR violations is this? 31 minutes for the kid? Unbelievable.
It was funny too. Like, in the last maybe 2 minutes or a minute and a half, Schaefer went to the bench, and I swear to God, within 10 seconds, he was back out there. Like, he had a 10-second breather. The people I was sitting with, and I wasn't working this game, so I had a couple drinks last night, so I didn't, maybe see everything as clearly as I usually do. But Schaefer literally felt like he was on the bench for 10 seconds. And I gotta say, like, the Islanders, like, came out and had a stinker, but credit to them for making it a close game. I thought for sure they were going to end up tying it after they made it 4-3. But if you haven't seen Matthew Schaefer play at UBS Arena, like, if you're in New York, I highly recommend going. He's so fun to watch.
He is the new face of the National Hockey League. Hey, Johnny, really appreciate the time. Thanks for this today.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Cabbie. Sorry again for being late.
No problem, bro. No problem at all, man.
See you guys.
There is Jonny Lazarus from Morning Cup of Hockey. See it on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel every day at 9, and also follow his great work on Twitter at JLazzy23. We've got a lot going on in the studio today. We've got Lindsay down at Rogers Center, and we're going to bring her back in But we've also got in studio Jay Rosehill joining us from Leafs Morning Take. What's happening, Jay?
What's
Good
going
morning,
on? Thanks
sir.
for having me, guys. It's good
morning,
to be
good morning.
good to be in person here for once. I think this is 3 weeks in a row, but first time mono.
Well, how was the flight in from Calgary?
It was good. It was seamless. I don't know if it was just 3 hours. I don't know if we had a little tailwind or the captain was throttled down or what, but it was pretty enjoyable. Good to be here. Where me and my two sons are going to go to the game tonight and pulling some attractions down in the Big Smoke. So yeah, we're excited.
That's pretty good. Last night, so the big talk about last night is Easton Cowan. Hey, I mean, I like to see the difference between a couple of weeks ago when it happened with Matthews and Radko Gudas. Cowan was on the ice for that. Didn't really expect him to go after Gudas, but in any case, he goes after Nikita Zadorov, who might be the biggest guy in the league.
Yeah, seriously, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted on this because, like, where is this all coming from now? And not specifically to Cowan at all. I mean, the guy's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect. If anything, you know, this kid's learning it now the right way through the missteps of the guys that were here before him, who obviously didn't get the memo for a decade straight. But the fact that he is that age and he's getting the message and showing up in such a big way with such an understanding of what went wrong there with that Matthews incident and how bad that looked, I just can't tip my cap enough. And it just goes to show, like, it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to die. Like, there's as good of an example as you can think of. Zadorov, this monster who loves the physical stuff and running his mouth and takes JT out. And you don't even, I mean, he doesn't even have to spring load his gloves the way he did. Just fly in there and wrap your arms around the guy just to show that, hey, we're not just going to stand by and watch that. He goes the extra mile, sheds his stuff, jumps the guy. Nothing bad comes of it. Still on the power. Like, it's just, it couldn't have been better. So the one thing I'm taking out of this incident in the last few weeks is that a guy like Cowan is learning things the right way.
Salute to John Tavares, who had 3 assists. Because we still want to celebrate some of the small things. And salute to Matthew Knies for a 2-goal game. But as someone that covers the Leafs, how do you experience, and Dan gave his comments earlier, I don't know if you heard them, but how do you experience the Leafs beating Boston when the goal is to lose as many games as possible? Hang on to that first-round pick.
Oh, just more leafiness, right? Of course, you beat Boston when the only time you'd ever not want to beat them. And it's tough, man. I mean, it's again, like I started with Dan here. I'm conflicted on it. Like, it's nice to see them play some. You know, it's nice to see Knies pop off that way. Our goaltenders are standing on their heads more often than not, but like, too little, too late, right? So there's where those feelings kind of come to an end, but. I don't know. I keep trying to assess where this team is at right now at this point in the season and what's going on with their year, and I just keep coming back to, oh my God, it's going to be a top 8 pick that we're handing over to Boston during their retool, and they've got 2 of them in the top 15, I think. It's a gross feeling, to be honest.
The nightmare is, like, Keaton Verhoff gets drafted by the Bruins somehow, and he's just, like, owning the ice whenever they play the Leafs for the next 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, what has this organization in Toronto needed forever? It's that stud D-man. I haven't looked at the depth charts that deep, but you just have a feeling like some stud D is going to come in there and play 1,000 games for them and be everything that the Leafs need right now. It's going to hurt. It always does. Like, the leafiness just never ends, especially when it comes to Boston.
Yeah, Tyler Seguin, all that. Sorry, Cab, go ahead.
No. You were going to list some of the players. I think that the Toronto has traded to Boston, right, in the last 15 years.
Tuukka Rask owned the Leafs for how many years? My God.
Yeah. Jay, as a former player, just clear up that, like, tanking is not a player thing; it's an organizational thing. Correct? It's not. It's the players want to play and play well, but it's the structure of the team and you get the call from the penthouse saying, "Hey, this is what we want for the rest of the year." Is that true? Or is that?
I think so. I mean, I think that the decisions that management can make, like who are we bringing up from the Marlies? Who are we shutting down? What about goaltenders? I mean, Stolarz went to the hospital a couple of days ago. He plays 2 days later. Maybe he doesn't. And guys like Matthew Knies, who have had knee injuries the whole time. Maybe he doesn't. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, maybe he sits down for a little bit. Maybe you look at this Akhtiamov kid you just signed. Like, there's ways for them to do it. I don't expect Craig Berube to go in there and be like, okay, guys, let's just be garbage tonight and let's not think about it. Like, he's not going to do that. I don't know what his future is in Toronto, and neither does he, but I think we have an idea of what the potential could be. He's going to coach the way that he can explain himself. As the old Moneyball coach would say, manager in that movie, he goes, I'm going to coach the way I can explain in interviews in the offseason. That might be Craig Berube's mentality right now. And the players aren't going to go. Like, that tanking thing, it's never like a said thing. Organizations have pride. These guys have been competitors their whole lives. They can't just go in and say, let's be brutal. It's got to happen in other ways, which is shutting guys down, putting guys on the shelf, giving other guys opportunities, some young guys. And through that, the chances of racking up a whole bunch of points go down quite a bit.
Look at the Florida Panthers. Sam Reinhart, undisclosed injury. We don't know. Like, we don't know if he'll play.
They get it. They understand.
They understand. We gotta solidify our place in the bottom 10 so we can keep that pick instead of sending it off to Chicago. But in any case, before we let you go, we had Lindsay down at Rogers Center. She's showcasing some of the best or some of the ballpark foods that are going to be at Jays games this year.
Nice.
What's your go-to when you're at a ball game? Is it just like simply hot dog and a brew? Like, what are we talking? What's the Jay Rosehill go-to?
Yeah, but you got to get like every condiment known to man on it just to get your money's worth, and like hollow out the bun a little bit just to pack more chili and onions and grease in there, and just get her all in there. So it's a simple dog, but when you look at it, there's nothing simple about it.
Jay, we appreciate it, and we'll be watching Leafs Morning Take.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
There he is, the great Jay Rosehill joining us in studio. He's in Toronto. He'll be at the Leafs-Rangers game tonight, and you can watch Leafs Morning Take coming up at 11 on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. All right, let's head back down to Rogers Center and see if we can bring Lindsay Dunn back into the conversation as she is checking out some of the new renos. What's going on down there, Lindsay?
Oh, there's so much excitement. I cannot wait for fans to be able to come and see what has happened here at the SkyDome. We're going to show you what's behind me in a moment, but I want to show you what I've seen so far. I know we're talking about merchandise. I did queue up our producer, Nick. If you can bring up some of the giveaways, 90% of the games will have either a giveaway or a theme night. And I know the Vladdy Guerrero Jr. bobblehead from when he was a wee little one was making a lot of traction. That is one of the giveaways. You're also seeing, George Springer on the panel hats. Like, let's get your reaction while you're seeing all these guys.
That is cool. There's a Blue Jays hockey sweater? Wow, I don't think I've...
Yeah, with Clement. It is his first giveaway.
Oh, very cool.
Ernie Clement. Earn Dog gets a hockey jersey to throw it back to his elite prospects days, eh?
Yes, and he plays hockey in the off season. We know this from Off the Roster when we were able to interview him, and yeah, this is his first giveaway with the Toronto Blue Jays. We've seen the hockey jersey before with, I think Vladdy got one for a City Connect, and then also George Springer. But Ernie is pumped for this one. Yeah, and then the SpongeBob SquarePants. You can call them a Ponce if you want. And Mr. Potato Head. Those are specialty tickets only, but they're really celebrating the 50th anniversary of the entire organization, what has happened. And then we're also seeing throughout the 100 level in the concourse, they have a bunch of different stations showcasing what has happened over the 50 years from the Toronto Blue Jays. And that includes, Vernon Wells, friends of the show, his jersey. We're seeing some of the bats that have been used, some of the first paper and ticket stubs that were used throughout the 50-year celebration. Then what is happening here is this is kind of Championship Alley. And we're just going to take a quick look at this. You can see Donaldson, that is in the 40th season. There's a lot of bobbleheads that were given out during that time. And this right here, this is celebrating. This is the freshest one, the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays. That is the American League Championship trophy. This is taking me back to the moment when the Yankees lose also. You have the bat that was used by Ernie Clement. That is the first bat up top.
I gotta say, I'm not ready to see the AL Champion trophy.
Okay. We'll focus on
that. I know they were American League champions, but they're also World Series losers, and I still can't get over that. It's like
for this moment, I need you to get over it because that bat was used by Ernie Clement during the postseason, borrowed from his buddy Miles Straw. Then underneath that is the bat by Alejandro Kirk that was used to hit the grand slam. And you know what? We're going to bring in my buddy Jeff from the Blue Jays, who does everything. You've either seen him working on the field or special projects. Can you explain this so much better to our viewers and to my buddy Cabbie and Dan what this section is?
Yeah, so everything here celebrates our great teams and our great moments, specifically the pennants that we've raised. So this is our American League East Division champions, including the first one in 1985. This is our back-to-back World Series wins. These are the great teams of 15 and 16 that had no shortage of incredible moments. And then this is also our 2025 American League champions as well. And so if you look around, you'll see everything that came off of the field related to those teams and celebration of their accomplishments.
So, like, even on this side, when we go around here, and also, fun fact, I did not prep Jeff that I was going to make him do an interview, but he's such a pro and knows everything that this is no problem. We look at the Derby champ medal that Vladdy got, like the chain. Like, you're also seeing some other great moments.
We had players and alumni. We had internal staff. Everyone understood what we were trying to accomplish in this project. Everyone wants fans to be able to enjoy and to see up close the things that come off of the field that have elevated these players to accomplish these things. And I think, like, what a better example than, Vladdy's home run derby chain, which is something that, we saw on TV when he won, and now we get to see it right up close and how spectacular and special it is.
This is crazy. Yeah, this is my first time ever seeing this up close. It is spectacular. But do you mind taking me through some of the earlier moments? Like, we will walk by the World Series trophies, which I think is so cool for fans to be able to see this.
Yeah, we'll have the World Series trophies on display. I think something that fans really have wanted and have asked for is access to these two trophies, the opportunity to see them up close and take a photo. And I think that's also something that's important to explain is this is 50th season, but this is living here forever. So we're happy to launch. We're excited to be able to share and celebrate our history in our 50th season, but this will always be here.
Just so you know, an inside joke for people that watch the shows, they call me Grandma Lindsay because my music taste is, my Spotify age was 87. We haven't found anybody. But
1987, I think, or at least the mid-80s was when Lloyd Mosby and Shaker's Rap came out.
Which I own in vinyl.
Which you can see the vinyl on display here at 80s Memories and Pillars.
What?
Yeah.
That is so cool. So for some of these I was not alive. Some people were, but some of the memories for people that were not alive before, they get to really experience the history of this club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here we are. We're celebrating our AL East wins in 89 and 91. Cito Gaston's jersey from his career. In fact, actually, this jersey and the photo that's connected to it, in 1989, when Cito was named manager mid-season, the first time they played the Orioles, which were managed by Frank Robinson, this was the first time in Major League Baseball history that featured a game with two black managers. And so that was a really special thing to be able to share and tell that story, which is to say not just here's a jersey or here's a baseball, but that there's meaning and impact for our players, our coaches, and fans, and intention behind that.
You know, we go way back. First of all, I appreciate all this information for you because you're doing such a better job than I would have ever. But anything that went in here where they dealt with like white gloves and stuff, because I really want to try on the cone head, which I did not know was a thing.
Yeah, so in the museum world, as we've learned in undertaking this project, everything is an artifact, right? So everything gets handled with a museum-grade attention. There are some specific items that we've connected with. So the National Baseball Hall of Fame, again, understanding our project, what we were looking to do, was extremely enthusiastic. And as a result, we've been able to have Joe Carter's bat from the walk-off. So if you just flip the corner here,
what?
We'll see that bat.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Right there.
So on that day, this bat left SkyDome and went to Cooperstown, which was obviously makes a ton of sense. That's the home of celebrating our game and our history game. This bat has returned to SkyDome, has returned to Rogers Center for this season. And to be able to share that with fans is special because previous to that, you would have had to go to Cooperstown. So we appreciate that the National Baseball Hall of Fame was so enthusiastic about having this bat be on display for Blue Jays fans.
I absolutely appreciate you. I put you on the spot. You are a legend. Thank you for this. And I'm so excited for all Blue Jays fans to check this out. Again, you're the best. Thank you.
We're excited about that too. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yes. Totally sprung that on him and everybody on the show, including you, Dan and Cabbie. I'm sorry. I just saw him. Like, I need someone to explain this. So just your thoughts on everything you just saw.
That's pretty fire. I mean, just another reason to go down to the ballpark this year. But, you know, you think about 50 years of the Blue Jays, and there's quite a few memories in there. And they cut deep to find some really interesting angles and bring in some interesting artifacts of Blue Jays history, Cab.
I like the Joe Carter bat. That's amazing. I'm assuming the home run ball is right next to it. That's awesome. That Cooperstown, like I don't know if is it on loan from Cooperstown or do the Blue Jays get to hang on to it forever? Yeah. Probably on loan. Yeah. I mean, Cooperstown is the baseball museum, but very cool artifacts. Looking at a few moments ago, there were Paul Molitor's cleats. Those look like football cleats. Like, bro, you got two hands in the sand or two hands in the dirt, you know, but it's, going back to the bobbleheads, I really need to get one of those Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion flex bobbleheads. Those look spectacular. I do look for the renovations. Look awesome. Like, salute to the team that is building that almost monument alley. It feels a little bit like what you experience at Dodger Stadium when you go onto the event level. There's a sort of a gallery of very cool artifacts, and this has a similar feel. But this one's way more public, and I'm sure Jays fans will really love to get up close and take photos and handprints on the glass and all those sort of things. I hope there's some lasers that are protecting some of those artifacts, because some of that stuff is very valuable.
I just did a quick run and fact check that you are correct. So the Joe Carter bat is on loan from Cooperstown, as well as the first baseball that was used in the World Series here in Toronto, because it was the first time a ball was used in the World Series outside of the USA. So those are the two items on loan. Other than that, it all is going to be in-house for everyone to enjoy. And of course, those will be here for everyone to enjoy all season as they celebrate the 50th anniversary. But guys, I'm sorry I hijacked the show. I just know that you would be as excited as everybody watching. And if you're listening, please go watch this underneath the Nation Network on YouTube to see all the cool artifacts. And I can't wait to enjoy a game with you guys. I cannot wait for Friday, but I'm going to throw it back to you guys because I absolutely hijacked the show, and I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. An exclusive here on Off the Roster of what's going on at Rogers Center this year. We had the food earlier, and now some of the items on display, the items you can get at various Blue Jays games this year, and also some of the new activations that they've got going on. Usually this is something that happens when the team isn't very good. They got to entice people to go down to the ballpark. But like Cab, it's not as easy getting into Jays games for this season. Not when they, were runners up in the World Series and then follow it up by spending $300 million in the offseason to try and make sure they get back to the World Series again this year.
I can imagine, especially the opening day tickets got to be just red hot. But maybe the third game against the Athletics may not be as high. The first matchup is Luis Severino against Kevin Gossman, which is great. We just saw Luis Severino in the World Baseball Classic pitching for the DR, and maybe we'll get a pitcher's duel in the first game, 3-2 or something like that. But it's what is it? Oakland first and then Colorado. So there might be maybe that third game against Colorado, you might be able to get a decent ticket. But the demand and the interest and the hype around the Blue Jays season is, at the top of the charts. It was similar to, I guess 2016, because 2015 sort of came out of nowhere. It was unexpected. But this year, all the expectations are on the beast in the AL East, that being the Toronto Blue Jays. Season starts tonight with the Yankees in San Francisco, which would be cool. The game's on Netflix, and Aaron Judge and them boys are taking on. I think Logan Webb. It opens the season for the San Francisco Giants. Yeah. So I'm gonna check that out. I like that Netflix is dipped its toe into live sports with NFL and now baseball. Other things. So I can't. It doesn't have some. I think it has some NBA games too, right? But anyway, it'll be great to see what Netflix does with its baseball coverage this year as the season starts in Oracle Park.
Yeah, and tonight they've got Yankees, Giants, as you just mentioned, Cab, and Yankees probably the biggest threat to the Jays in the AL East. All the projections have the Yankees being slightly better than the Blue Jays potentially, the analytic models going into the season. So the Yankees may be still the biggest threat, but obviously you can't count out the Orioles or the Red Sox, who also had great off seasons. Going to be a gauntlet. You mentioned Netflix. Barry Bonds is going to be a part of their coverage tonight, Cab. I've always found it funny. Like, Bonds was notorious for hating on the media, hating when he got tough questions around, the question marks about his usage of certain items or not. And, he was an unbelievable ball player, but yeah, he was cagey with the media. At the same time, first chance he gets, he's joining the broadcast media here with Netflix. And so it is kind of funny how that always works. Torts was famous for it in hockey, where hates on the media anytime he's in a job. And then as soon as he got fired, he's like, oh, there he is on an ESPN panel. Barry Bonds is joining that list. But, I'm kind of curious to hear what Barry Bonds has to say and kind of get an insight into how he watches a baseball game.
I absolutely am too. Yeah, you're right. Like, both of those guys you mentioned had adversarial relationships with the media, and now they're like, hey, let's be friends or whatever. I mean, they both provide incredible insights. And anytime there's a video that pops up in my algorithm with Barry Bonds explaining an at-bat or a sequence, that is my crack cocaine. Like, that is like, put that nicotine, that heroin into my veins, because I love watching him and reveal his process. And he was maybe the game's most patient hitter and most dominant and an intimidating force. We were mentioning, a couple days ago when I was talking about George Springer's potential regression this season, and I hope it doesn't happen, but it could happen. The bro is 36. I was looking at OPS plus, which is a metric that one of the best metrics to evaluate a hitter's impact in the game. Aaron Judge had he led last year with like 215. I went back to just look at Barry Bonds' 2004 stats. This is the season where his on-base percentage was .609, Dan. I know I've told this story before, but I recently had this conversation with Dalton Varsho. Salute to that young fella who's in a contract season. 5 home runs in spring training. We see you, big fella. We see you're about to get a big bonus. Hopefully that heat continues over the start of the season. But Varsho said, I said to him, there was a time where I would sit in the Jays clubhouse and I would geek out about Bonds' stats I remember vividly Josh Donaldson and I for like 15 minutes on a 2-seater in the Jays. He goes, and Varsho's like, we still do that today. Like, his numbers were beyond video game on easy, but against the best, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, like the best of his era. And dude was batting 400 against these elite pitchers. So hearing his insights on baseball will be a lot of fun. Real quick, do you remember when Pete Rose joined the Fox broadcast in like 17 or 18? And Rose is talking about hitting with Frank Thomas and Alex Rodriguez. And I was just sitting there like this. I'm like, this is amazing. He's like, there's only – and so I want Bonds to deliver those types of insights where baseball nerds just kind of watch like this and just like hang on every word, because this guy, I believe he's the greatest baseball player ever lived. Shohei Ohtani is raising his hand like, hold on a second. But that's my expectation, that he's just going to deliver some unbelievable nuggets and insights on the game because he's so elite.
Andy in the chat saying it's only available on Netflix in the U.S., so we'll have to
really? Are you sure? I thought it was a global game. We'll see tonight if it works for us.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see tonight, but it's going to be, the Bonds thing. You know how good you have to be for a team to intentionally walk you with the bases loaded?
Bro,
like
that year.
That is the ultimate flex any baseball player could ever possibly have. So that's the Barry Bonds story.
Dude, when you're getting in 2004, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So last year, Aaron Judge had 32 intentional walks. In 2004, Bonds had over 100. Over 100 times. He had 232 bases on balls that season, which is just like, bro, what? Yeah. It's just incredible. How does it even happen? That's amazing.
I think we are going to get another check-in here from Lindsay Dunn down at Rogers Center. Lindsay, what's going on?
What do we got?
Lindsay? We can't hear Lindsay.
The
microphone might not be working. We're going to do a quick technical adjustment on that front as we try to get it going again. Let's do in the meantime, let's do our picks, Cab, and then we'll go back to
Let's go.
All right, it is our ProLine picks of the day here on Off the Roster. The new ProLine app is here. Betting online with ProLine Plus and betting in-store with ProLine, both easier than ever with the new ProLine app. The new ProLine app has more sports, more leagues, and more markets than ever. This ain't the old ProLine. The new app makes betting on baseball easier than ever, and that's exactly what we are doing tonight, Cab. We mentioned the New York Yankees against the San Francisco Giants in San Fran. Everybody was jumping on Aaron Judge last week after the World Baseball Classic. His chance for redemption comes tonight, so I've got a Aaron Judge home run against the San Francisco Giants tonight. Okay. We're going with a juicy play on the slate tonight, Cap.
Wow, right out the gate with the bombs away. A little, maybe he'll take one to a splash hit into right center field as she's got the power from the right-hand side of the plate to sail it into McCovey Cove. I'm staying in the association tonight. Canadian Andrew Nembhard of the Indiana Pacers playing the Los Angeles Lakers. Nembhard is averaging a little over 7 assists per game in the month of March. The Pacers recently ended a brutal 16-game losing streak with a win against Orlando on Monday. The Los Angeles Lakers recently had a 9-game win streak snapped in Detroit a few days ago. So when Andrew Nembhard plays around 30 minutes a night, he clears 8 assists in his last 7 games. So Andrew Nembhard to record 8 or more assists tonight versus the LA Lakers is my ProLine pick of the day.
All right, Cab, let's hope we get the dubs tonight. But, of course, as always, these are for entertainment purposes only.
They are indeed. Thank you, sir.
Let's go back to Rogers Center where we find Lindsay Dunn. What's happening, Lindsay? Do we have it?
No, not really hearing.
All right. So, unfortunately, we cannot get the microphone working down at Rogers Center with Lindsay Dunn. But
she was standing somewhere. It looked like there was another beautiful setting of just like food and delicious treats, and it looked like just a really cool lounge. It just makes me. I have some FOMO, and it makes me want to get down there for a game as soon as possible.
Tomorrow, the Blue Jays are going to have a workout down at Rogers Center. We'll hear from Ross Atkins, John Schneider in the lead up to opening day on Friday, which is for the Blue Jays, of course, the season officially opening up tonight with the Yankees and the San Francisco Giants. On top of that, the Jays will have to make their final roster decisions today. So a decision looming on Davis Schneider and Leo Jimenez for the Jays, and maybe filling out those final bullpen spots as well. But we'll get to all of that tomorrow. We'll wrap up Leafs and Rangers as well, and also Raptors Clippers for the late one tonight as the Raptors close out their 5-game roadie. We'll have Lindsay back as well for us. So until tomorrow, we'll see you then, chat. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.